One of these days, I will figure this stuff out. I'm just gonna check in to see if anybody is on Facebook. Um, it is Tuesday. This is my usual training call time. I know I didn't post a particular event, but basically today I just wanted to talk about recovering from a holiday weekend. We all have choices, right? And sometimes we choose based off of emotion, and most often that doesn't end well when we choose to do things based off of emotion. So, what you can do in the future is understand that you're going to come across situations like a holiday weekend where you might be getting together with friends, family, whomever, and you might not have your typical structure per se, as you would during the week or even on the weekends when you have all your food prepped and you're good to go. So, what do you do when your situation is different than the norm? And what happens if you make a choice that you're not necessarily happy with? How do you recover from that? So I always try to enter into either vacation or a weekend, holiday weekend, with an attitude of, okay, what do I want to accomplish by the end of this weekend? And if I want things to remain where they are, or if I want to continue to progress towards a particular goal, are my actions going to align with those particular goals? So if they don't, and you had made the choice to have this baller, fun, kick-ass weekend where you didn't really care about drinking alcohol or eating out and making less than healthy choices, so to say, as long as you are okay at the end result when you wake up on Tuesday morning and the scale might be up a couple of pounds and you don't have a total flip out or it sends you down this rabbit hole of self-destruction, the fastest way that you can get yourself back on track is getting yourself back on track that next day and continually trying to push towards what you're trying to accomplish. So after a holiday weekend, it might be a great idea to make sure that your water intake is on par with where you should be. It would be a good idea if you didn't get much sleep over the weekend to make sure that you're back on track. Set your bedtime for the same time, set your wake time for the same time. Also, just shifting back to trying to eat mainly nutrient dense foods, focusing in on lean proteins, vegetables, fruits, maybe staying away for the week from any kind of processed foods, because what tends to happen is once you start eating said foods, you're going to continue to eat those foods. Or you can decide to just shift the treats that you're trying to have for the week to something that might be like, I don't know, making your own sweet potato chips or even your own potato chips or vegetable chips, so that you have that salty snack, but it's not heavily processed and you have a little bit more control over the ingredients as to what is going into that snack. So it might be if you're on an ice cream kick, maybe you go purchase your, what is that stuff called? The protein ice cream. The name is escaping me, but I'm sure you guys have seen it. Geez, now I want to Google it. The protein ice cream, I think there's several kinds now. And they're like 300 calories for the entire container. Why can't I think of that? So anyway, protein ice cream. It's going to come up. Oh, actually, they have multiple. Halo Top is the one I was thinking of, but it looks like Fairlife makes it now, and So Tillamook makes one. Anyway, just trying to shift your choices so that you are better able to navigate getting away from the habits that maybe you had over the weekend. Maybe you were hanging out at a friend's house and you really didn't have time to get your steps in or to work out or whatever. Just it's Tuesday. Get yourself back on track with making sure you're getting your movement in. So it's always about coming back to the habits that you know work for you and get you more on par with being consistent, and also making sure that the sleep is definitely a big one up there. Sometimes it's difficult to get up in the morning after a long weekend, so trying not to hit that snooze button is another great way to start that week after a holiday off. But really, when you're out of your structure, it's very easy to get out of doing habits that have worked for you in the past. So I always go back to not necessarily trying to be perfect, but trying to at least pick anywhere from 2 to 5 things that I know that I can do for 1 week, that are going to set me up for health success versus sending me down that rabbit hole. If anybody is out there in Facebook land and has some questions that they want to ask, I am open for any questions. You got me. You got me. Also, those of you that did fill out your Fix My Diet form, thank you. I think I have booked calls with you guys, hoping it'll take between 15 and 30 minutes to have a quick chat and give you some direction on things that might be helpful as far as your nutrition is concerned to get you launched in the right direction. I know one of the biggest things that I had a hard time wrapping my head around was tracking all of my data. But we can't necessarily measure what we don't track. So if you're tracking how much you're taking in, that's something that is 100% guaranteed. If you're trying to track the calories that you're burning, there's way too much room for error in order to do that. So just eliminating that and just looking at the number of calories that are coming in to work towards your goals, especially if you are looking at fat loss or weight loss. We never want to include exercise because there's too much room for error. So keeping that in mind, try not to be too intimidated by tracking all of your habits. Track your sleep, maybe even keep a journal, like what's causing your stress, how can you manage your stress, all of those things, especially as we are entering into menopause, have an effect on our health, but more importantly, maybe not more importantly, but also our body composition. So just keeping that in mind. Just going to check to see if anybody has any questions. If you have any questions, just comment them in the comments on Facebook. I'm going to be out here for another 5 minutes, just kind of talking away. So I have my Facebook window open here, and just let me know if you have any questions. I would be happy to answer them. I'm going to be jumping on with clients at 4:15 my time, which is 7:15 Eastern time. So if you have any questions now, go ahead and ask away. Let's see, what else? Summer's over. So it's also a really good time to kind of push reset, and maybe you get back into exercising this week. Maybe you get back into just making sure you're drinking more water this week. Like I said, just pick like maybe 2 things, whatever you think that you can handle for the week, and try to incorporate them into your day. It's often very consuming, all consuming, if you are trying to set yourself up with like a list of 10 things and trying to master them all at once versus just giving yourself a couple of things to try to master and then adding on once you're successful with those things. So keeping that in mind, maybe what is it that you want to look forward to doing for the next 7 days, so that you're starting to do your healthy habits. So just keep that in mind. Is anybody out there? I see no one out there. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and post them in the comments below. I am going to go ahead and sign off. So if any questions come up, what I want you to do, post them in the comments below, and that will be part of the topic for next Tuesday's call. Don't forget, I am on here every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, and I guess that would be 5 p.m. Mountain Time. So wherever you are, definitely tune in here on Facebook, and I will see you all next week.